Hello everyone, Dan 14th Prime here, doing a video share today on the new addition to the Prime Pyre, the threezero Transformers Bumblebee Optimus Prime, as seen from the Bumblebee movie. I ordered this guy directly from threezero January 1st, 2020, so we're talking 2 years and a week, let's call it. He's finally here, shipping direct from threezero. If you've ordered from US retailers or other places, you're going to be probably 2 to 4 months down a supply chain. Still, particularly in this current context, but at least he's finally shipping. I've seen so many questions on my heads up video about that. The packaging here reminds me a lot of the Last Night packaging. It's basically gray styrofoam underlying insert, and they just have this printed plastic kind of overcard that goes over it. It's got some plastic film over it that you can see is kind of wrinkled and stuff. That's just a protectant. You peel that off and you'll just have a nice clean print underneath that. I just haven't got to that. But there we see a quick spin around that packaging. So going in the styrofoam here, we get a top tray. You get this kind of embossed Autobot logo, Optimus Prime stuff on there. As you saw, we go in the top tray here. We get some instruction manuals and just some parts and pieces that we're going to need to put on Optimus to get him together and looking all cool. You can see here the manual, pretty typical stuff for this piece, these premium scale figures. Manual shows all kinds of articulation, how to just be careful with the figure, so be sure to take a look at that so you don't break or scratch anything. Then if we just go next tray down here, of course we'll get into the good stuff. So here we have got our big bad boy. Forget these things go like 18, 19, 20 inches, I can't recall exactly. Good size. Basically just Optimus in there, and again a few parts and pieces. If you don't recall, because we ordered this 2 years ago, these parts and pieces, there is like an Earth mode and a Cybertronian mode that we can present him or display him in. So here I've got Optimus out of the box. I've got him in all of his Earth mode accessories, and I've got him all battery powered up, so we can go in and take a look at that. First reactions and observations out of the box. I mean, beautiful figure, threezero, 3A before them. Always done a fantastic job on these figures. I've had the Last Night figure. I've had the Dark of the Moon figure as well. Let those go a while ago, but this piece is consistently, I would say, well done, sculpted, painted, and all of that. I will say, first reaction, it feels a bit less on the quality front. Just with what I've done so far, I'm not sensing as much ratchets. There's a lot of just tension joints or friction joints. And I have to say straight away, I think the hands on this guy are probably going to be bad. Certainly the worst of the three that I would have mentioned and owned myself personally. Both thumbs were off out of the box. I was able to snap them back in, but they're really just fickle, non-sturdy pegs. They keep popping back off. Also, other cover parts of the hand of the thumb were popping off as well. So it just doesn't, I never had that problem with the other two figures in their hands. So they've done something different there, and it just doesn't hold up as well to articulation. So just really quickly here, to get him in his Earth mode, you're basically just putting everything on him in the bottom tray and putting it more or less on the sides they have it positioned. You know, they put left and right side, how they pack things out in the box. You put on this gas tank here. You put on this side hip panel onto kind of a movable peg piece. Around back here, you'll do the same with, the two butt panels. Again, posable peg piece. And then finally, this arm piece here kind of snaps into the shoulder. All the hip stuff is permanent. This piece you'll swap out a little bit when you go into Cybertronian mode, which is good because I don't think the hip pieces could sustain a lot of on and off movement with these kind of small ball pegs they're on. Let's jump in here on the head sculpt. Again, I've got the batteries in, two LR44s/AG13s, whatever you want to call them. And the button is right there in the forehead. There he goes off, a little bit of lag. Yeah, it kind of fades away after you push it. Pretty dead eyes when the power's not on. So blue plastic lens, but it just really looks, you need a lot of light to see that on display. Could have been painted a little bit brighter or something. But that's with the lights on. It does look very good with the light on. Overall, as usual, threezero, again, /3A as their predecessor. I mean, they get all the sculpts and stuff nice. They do a really nice job. Again, I gotta say, maybe he's just not going to articulate that far. Articulating this guy, though it's highly articulated, everything moves. Needs some breaking in. It's just really kind of tough here out of the box, I will say. But that head sculpt, really good from all angles. Then here, just covering the batteries quickly, you get this light up end effect to the gun. Again, nothing special. I don't think it will display well at all. I think we've seen as an issue before with Bumblebee or something in the line. Again, 2 LR44s in the bottom there, and there's a switch under there to turn that off and on underneath the panel, unfortunately. So not as smart with the switch on that as they typically have been. Let me just show them off for you a bit. I'm not going to comment like every detail. You can just kind of take a look, but we'll chunk them out a bit here. Front torso, tons of great detail through the midsection. Shoulders, kind of biceps, arms, all kinds of great gears. You got the Autobot logos. A nice finish. The paint, kind of glossy, but not like super high gloss, but a nice sheen to it. Everything looking really, really nice. What we've gotten from this premium line, I think through and through, it's delivering. Go down to a bit of pan here, again, through the midsection. You see the forearms there, arrows, things like that. Just all that signature stuff that was kind of Earth mode, blue crotch. So you get all the call marks. Again, it's Bumblebee movie type stuff, but Earth mode spin. So you know the design from that, right? But I think they pull it off and execute it really well. I put a bit more light in there as you go down. Check out everything down to the feet. We'll do a side profile here. Looks nice, and the pipes look really good. Got all that fine detail in there. Nice chrome. All these details, these little silver accents on that shoulder. Really, really impressive. And I had the arm up before, kind of showing the hip panels and stuff, so we'll keep it down. You can check out just all of the gear details on the side of the arm, which is crazy. There is a ton of detail in that arm. And then just final jog down here. Again, you had seen the hip panels and stuff with the arm up. There's the gas tank again. And this comes down into the wheels. Very well consistently done with some of the other figures. It's kind of like dirt, sort of worn, painted in there. Nice rubber sort of look to them. But definitely hard plastic type feel. Back of the figure here is really, really impressive. Just a lot of great detail. I'll even show you the top, because kind of up through his shoulders and stuff is really nice too. So just tons of good looking stuff back here. Again, great articulation features like the DLX. When you kind of crunch his back and stuff, you'll get some of that extension. I'll show you some of that stuff. I won't grind on articulation, but I'll show you some of the more impressive things. And just get you the rest of the way down the back side here. Down to the hips. See that blue hip piece accent comes around. Again, fine shock details in there, kind of like blue or green, wires and stuff, really detailed in there. Plenty of stuff. You get this in hand, you'll still see plenty of surprises, Easter eggs, as you explore this in detail in hand yourself as well. Even down here, back of the ankle, kind of pistons and stuff back there. And then here, just trying to get on top of this guy a little bit. I'll just give him kind of a little bit of a twist here. A lot of great detail kind of on the top, back, shoulders, and kind of part of the chest and all of that. Looks really good too. And then here, let me show you the gun. It's big, as you saw when he had it in hand. Impressive. Not Dark at the Moon, big and impressive, but still looks really good. For whatever reason, like the clip is separate and it's a separate piece in the box. Don't know why, but maybe just safety concern around breakage or something. Again, the batteries go underneath there in the panel as well as the switch. So usually they're smarter with the switches rather than putting them behind panels. But here is, again, a lot of nice detail. Basically just a few colors on here with the silver, kind of copper or gold type thing. And then the main black, of course, with worn details. There are these clips that go on here to attach into the left or right hand. Sort of grooves into his palm for some friction. But it's really, really nice. They did it really well. And while we have them here, just took a quick peek through the manual again. Probably the back articulation is really the only sort of cool special thing. Otherwise, it's just going to move a lot like all these figures have. And I don't want to grind on articulation. It's kind of hard and boring for a figure this large to do on video, and then frankly to watch is probably more painful. So let me just show you the back here. Other than that, I'd say there's no other real sort of reveal of the figure or parts that you don't otherwise see with the figure in a museum pose. So here we have Optimus swapped out in Cybertronian mode. Not too difficult, basically involves swapping out the chest piece here. And if you don't recall there, I mean, pretty similar comparatively speaking. Obviously, the windshield wipers being one of the most obvious differences, but there's some other finer differences too, like around the edges here that you see as well. Pro tip here is these pieces each have these little hooks on the side. When you lay that in, it just pegs in. There's a little shoulder piece here you can just lift up a bit to let those hooks go in behind. Makes that much easier. We also then swapped out the shoulder panel here. See a little bit of difference there. And again, simple, just pulls off on a couple pegs. And then we also swap out the side of the shoulder panel. Now this is actually the front, kind of sweeps around on the Cybertronian one and sits on top of the new panel. And again, that is the old one, just for kind of comparative reference. And then the other pieces here on each side are a little slicker. Because again, that shoulder piece on the side in particular, it's got like a clip on. So it's probably the toughest piece you'll change out. Didn't love that. Be careful. But then that blue side armor piece, I guess, just magnetizes right over the top of the arm. So that's convenient and slick. And then below here as well, kind of get like the wheel hubs. These almost Batman looking things. Just magnetize, clip on right over the Earth mode wheels. So I'll just get you a quick pan of that. Again, it's all stuff you'd mainly notice from the front or profile. Again, with the chest and the shoulder stuff mainly from the front. A little bit of the side of the arm accents you'll notice. Otherwise, all that lot of other Earth mode stuff, or mention other parts you put on. You know, the oil tanks and the hip stuff and all that stuff, they stay on. Quick pan of the side here. I think it's pretty cool how those two pieces kind of interact and overlap over the chrome pipe. Cool shape to them too, so that's really neat. And that just simplifies a bit. All that really is just hiding all of that fantastic detail I was gawking about before. And then again, just the wheel hubs, just a little bit of a style difference. So there he is, guys, the threezero Transformers Optimus Prime from the Bumblebee movie premium scale. I think generally as good as, and honestly, I can't remember top of mind if this is the first premium scale we've got under the threezero brand or if they gave us another one, Soundwave or something. I don't recall. It's the first one I've gotten, premium scale, under the threezero brand. It's as good as the 3As I had before, you know, its predecessor company basically. Definitely in terms of sculpt, paint. Still think it's a very good value, these figures. They used to be like $450 shipped to your door direct from 3A. It's still pretty good. It was actually a bit more expensive to buy from threezero, probably close to like $550. Because I think it's actually cheaper to get it like from like Big Bad Toy Store than threezero, which was never the case in the past before with 3A. And again, the only thing that really catches my eye or my touch really is though it's all, again, well articulated. Everything in there is going to move. You'll see that in the manual. I've been playing with it a little bit off to the side, but not one to do a lot of that on camera. It's difficult. But more friction joints than ratchet joints on this figure. And some pretty tight friction joints, so be careful you don't break anything. It's going to need some breaking in. Particularly like just trying to rotate the shoulder like straight up, for example. Ton of friction. But I can also recall in the old 3A figures complaining that they just put too big of a ratchet in there. So can't make me happy, I guess. And then the only other thing is just, again, just those hands. Really super delicate. The thumbs, I should say in particular. I've had problems with the thumbs, just both falling off. And then even when I handle them and try to put the gun in and stuff, they're popping back off again, just on these little ball joints and stuff. So not as good of hands as at least the prior two figures that I've personally owned. Otherwise, as good all the way around. Happy with it, I think, overall. So that's going to be it for this one, guys. Thanks for stopping by again. Checking out the video. Again, check me out on Instagram if I hadn't mentioned yet. Same handle, Dan14 Prime. A bit more active there these days. So look me up and give me a follow. But thanks for checking out this video again, and I'll see you next time.